The Trojan War, a cornerstone of Greek mythology, is believed to have taken place around the 13th or 12th century BCE. This epic conflict, recounted in Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, tells the tale of the siege of Troy, a powerful city in Anatolia, which is modern-day Turkey. While the war is steeped in mythology and legend, archaeological evidence suggests a historical basis for the conflict. The discovery of the ruins of Troy in the late 19th century by Heinrich Schliemann provided tangible evidence of a Bronze Age city that matched descriptions found in ancient texts. The Trojan War, therefore, stands as a fascinating intersection of myth and history. It offers a glimpse into the beliefs, values, and societal structures of the late Bronze Age Aegean world. The war's enduring legacy is evident in its continued influence on literature, art, and popular culture, solidifying its place as one of the most significant events in Western civilization. However, separating fact from fiction is a challenge when studying this period. It is likely that the Trojan War, as depicted in the Iliad, is an embellished account of a real conflict. The scale of the war, the involvement of gods and goddesses, and the extraordinary feats of heroes are all likely elements of poetic license. Nevertheless, the Trojan War continues to captivate our imaginations, offering timeless lessons about love, war, heroism, and the fickle nature of fate. The immediate cause of the Trojan War is often attributed to a seemingly insignificant event, the Judgment of Paris. This myth tells the story of Eris, the goddess of discord, who, feeling slighted at not being invited to the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, threw a golden apple inscribed, "To the fairest among the goddesses." Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite each claimed the apple, leading to a dispute that Zeus decided to leave in the hands of Paris, a Trojan prince. Each goddess offered Paris a bribe. Hera promised him power, Athena promised him wisdom in war, and Aphrodite promised him the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen, wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta. Paris, swayed by desire, chose Aphrodite and claimed Helen as his prize. The abduction of Helen by Paris ignited a firestorm of anger in the Achaean world, which is Greece. Menelaus, deeply insulted and outraged, called upon his brother Agamemnon, the powerful king of Mycenae, to help him avenge this transgression. Agamemnon, eager to assert his authority and expand his influence, rallied the Achaean kings and their armies to sail for Troy and reclaim Helen, thus igniting the decade-long Trojan War. This chain of events highlights the volatile nature of power and pride in the ancient world. The abduction of a woman, even one as revered as Helen, became the catalyst for a conflict that would claim the lives of countless heroes and ultimately lead to the destruction of a civilization. The Achaean army that assembled to lay siege to Troy was a formidable force, composed of renowned heroes and warriors from across the Greek world. Led by Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae, this alliance included such legendary figures as Achilles, the swift-footed warrior of near-invincible strength, Odysseus, the cunning king of Ithaca, Ajax the Great, a warrior of immense size and strength, and Diomedes, a courageous and skilled fighter. The Achaeans set sail for Troy with a fleet of over 1,000 ships, carrying tens of thousands of warriors. Their journey across the Aegean Sea was fraught with challenges, including storms, delays, and the wrath of the gods. The gathering of so many powerful and independent-minded heroes under one banner was no easy feat. Agamemnon, despite his position as High King, faced constant challenges to his authority. The jealousies, rivalries, and conflicting personalities of his commanders often threatened to undermine the Achaean war effort. The Trojan War, therefore, was not just a clash of civilizations, but also a stage for the interplay of human ambition, loyalty, and the often destructive nature of pride. The initial years of the Trojan War were marked by brutal but largely inconclusive battles. The Achaeans, despite their numerical superiority, found themselves unable to breach the formidable walls of Troy. The Trojans, led by their valiant king Priam and his courageous son Hector, fought fiercely to defend their city and their homes. The war settled into a bloody stalemate, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. Raids and skirmishes were commonplace, and both sides suffered heavy casualties. The Achaeans, unable to break through to Troy, resorted to raiding neighboring cities allied with the Trojans, further escalating the conflict and widening the circle of violence. These early battles showcased the military tactics and weaponry of the late Bronze Age. Chariots, swords, spears, bows and arrows were the tools of war. Battles were fought in close quarters, often decided by individual strength, courage and skill. The gods, too, were believed to play an active role in the conflict, influencing the tide of battle and protecting their favored heroes. The stalemate, however, could not last forever. The prolonged siege took its toll on both sides, testing their resolve and setting the stage for the dramatic events that would decide the fate of Troy. Section 5. The Wrath of Achilles, a Hero's Pride, and its Consequences. A significant turning point in the war came with the withdrawal of Achilles from battle. Insulted by Agamemnon, who had taken his war prize Briseis, Achilles, the mightiest of the Achaean warriors, refused to fight. His absence from the battlefield had a profound impact on the morale of the Achaean army and tipped the scales in favor of the Trojans. The Iliad, Homer's epic poem, focuses heavily on the wrath of Achilles and its consequences. It explores the destructive nature of pride and the complex relationship between honor, duty, and revenge. Without Achilles, the Achaeans found themselves on the back foot. The Trojans, emboldened by their enemy's weakened state, pushed their advantage, led by the courageous and skilled Hector. The tide of the war seemed to have turned in favor of Troy. Achilles' decision to withdraw from battle, driven by personal pride and anger, had far-reaching consequences. It not only jeopardized the Achaean campaign, but also set in motion a chain of events that would lead to the deaths of many heroes, including his closest companion, Patroclus. Section 6. The Fall of Patroclus, turning point of the Trojan War. The death of Patroclus marked a pivotal moment in the Trojan War. With the Achaeans on the verge of defeat, Patroclus, Achilles' closest friend, convinced the reluctant hero to allow him to wear his armor and lead the Myrmidons, Achilles' fierce warriors, into battle. Disguised as Achilles, Patroclus instilled fear in the hearts of the Trojans and rallied the Achaean forces. However, Patroclus' triumph was short-lived. Driven by his success and a desire for glory, he allowed himself to be drawn too close to the walls of Troy, where he was met by Hector. In a tragic confrontation, Hector, aided by the god Apollo, killed Patroclus, sending shockwaves through the Achaean army and igniting a furious desire for revenge in Achilles. The death of Patroclus shattered the stalemate that had defined the war. It pushed Achilles back into the fray, driven by grief and a burning need to avenge his fallen comrade. The loss of Patroclus, a noble and beloved figure, highlighted the tragic cost of war and the devastating consequences of pride and vengeance. Section 7. Hector and Achilles, a duel for the ages. The climax of the Iliad focuses on the epic duel between Hector and Achilles. Consumed by grief and rage over the death of Patroclus, Achilles rejoined the battle, seeking revenge against Hector. The two heroes, considered the greatest warriors of their respective sides, clashed in a legendary duel that showcased their strength, skill, and unwavering courage. After a fierce and protracted battle, Achilles, aided by the goddess Athena, struck down Hector. In a final act of humiliation, he tied Hector's body to his chariot and dragged it around the walls of Troy before returning to the Achaean camp. The duel between Hector and Achilles, a clash of titans, transcended the immediate conflict. It became a timeless symbol of the tragic nature of war, the fickle hand of fate, and the enduring power of human emotion. Hector, despite knowing he was facing his doom, fought with honor and courage, defending his city and his family to his last breath. Section 8. The Trojan Horse, a cunning strategy for victory. With Hector dead and the Trojan army demoralized, the Achaeans devised a cunning plan to finally conquer the seemingly impregnable city. Odysseus, known for his strategic brilliance, came up with the idea of the Trojan horse. The Achaeans built a massive wooden horse, hollow inside, and presented it to the Trojans as a peace offering and a tribute to the goddess Athena. Unbeknownst to the Trojans, a select group of Achaean warriors led by Odysseus hid within the horse's belly. The Trojans, believing the war to be over, celebrated their victory and dragged the horse within their city walls. Under the cover of night, the Achaean warriors emerged from the horse, opened the city gates for their comrades, and launched a surprise attack. The fall of Troy was swift and brutal. The Achaeans, fueled by years of frustration and a desire for revenge, unleashed their fury upon the city. Troy was sacked and burned, its men slaughtered, its women and children taken as slaves. The once mighty city was reduced to smouldering ruins, a stark reminder of the devastating cost of war. The Trojan horse remains one of the most enduring symbols of military strategy and deception in history. It highlights the importance of cunning and guile in warfare, demonstrating that even the most formidable defenses can be overcome with ingenuity and a well-executed plan. Section 9. The legacy of Troy literature, archaeology, and timeless tales. The Trojan War, though a distant echo from a bygone era, continues to resonate deeply in the collective consciousness of Western civilization. Its legacy is multifaceted, encompassing literature, art, archaeology, and popular culture. The stories of the Trojan War, passed down through generations, have inspired countless works of art, from ancient Greek tragedies to Renaissance paintings, to modern-day films and novels. Homer's epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, remain cornerstones of Western literature, offering profound insights into the human condition and the timeless themes of love, loss, heroism, and the futility of war. The discovery of the ruins of Troy in the late 19th century by Heinrich Schliemann provided tangible evidence of the city's existence, bridging the gap between myth and history. The archaeological site of Troy, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, continues to be a subject of fascination and study, offering valuable insights into the Bronze Age Aegean world. The Trojan War, therefore, continues to captivate our imaginations, reminding us of the enduring power of storytelling and the timeless relevance of the human experience. The heroes and villains of Troy, with their passions, flaws, and triumphs, continue to hold a mirror to our own lives, reminding us of the cyclical nature of history and the enduring power of myth.